7-Eleven, home of the 64-ounce Double Gulp and the Pina Colada Slurpee, has helped revolutionize the way we shop at convenience stores. In March 2019, the 90-year-old brand that generations of consumers have turned to for gas, cokes, and smokes launched its first Evolution store. The redesigned venue features a growler station with craft beer, a taqueria, and scan and pay technology that allows customers to bypass the checkout line. Traditionally, 83% of products sold at convenience stores are consumed within the hour. But 7-Eleven is betting that its new store concept and services aided by technology will help redefine the future of convenience. And with consumers stocking up on goods in a bid to avoid crowded lines at the grocery store and staying closer to home due to COVID-19 restrictions, the convenience store industry could be on the verge of a profound change.
It's been an exciting year, I think, for organizations like convenience. Shoppers see it as a quick fill destination where they're not standing in line to pick up your milk, your eggs, your bread, your cheese, your quick fill-ins. And convenience has been in a good location to go and get those quick trips.
The pandemic had a significant impact on all retail, but particularly convenience, because first off, the pandemic redefined what convenience was.
Convenience stores in the U.S. make up about a third of brick-and-mortar retail stores, and about half the population, 165 million consumers, visits a C-store each day. So what changes can 7-Eleven shoppers expect in the future? And will the world's largest convenience brand be able to maintain its momentum? "7-Eleven got its start in Dallas, Texas. In 1927, Uncle Johnny Jefferson Green, who ran the local Southland Ice Company, came up with the idea that in addition to selling frozen blocks of ice, he would offer customers staples like milk, eggs, and cigarettes. The first ever convenience store opened. In 1937, Southland expanded to include some of its other properties and named the new shops Totem Stores. A decade later, to reflect the store's extended hours, the shops were renamed 7-Eleven. In the 1950s, 7-Eleven expanded beyond Texas to Florida, Virginia, and Pennsylvania, and started selling fuel.
The biggest growth in the convenience store industry began in the late 50s, and that was the growth of the suburbs. That's where you started having communities where you drove to stores, and the convenience store was that convenient place to pick up fill-in items. And it was called the mini mart because it really acted like a small grocery store.
By 1963, the chain had 1,000 locations, and 6 years later, the brand ballooned to 3,500 stores. 7-Eleven was innovating its product offerings too. In 1965, the brand launched the world's first coffee to go and its iconic Slurpee drink. By the 1970s, it introduced self-service gas at some locations, and in 1980, 7-Eleven launched the 32-ounce Big Gulp drink. The brand was expanding overseas too. But with increased competition and almost $5 billion in debt, in 1990, 7-Eleven's parent company filed for bankruptcy protection. Southland Corporation sold controlling interest in its retail stores to its Japanese partners, Ito Yokota, Japan's second largest supermarket chain and majority owner of 7-Eleven Japan. In 2005, 7-Eleven Incorporated was made a wholly owned subsidiary of 7-Eleven Japan. By 2013, 7-Eleven stores around the world were generating sales of $84 billion, and consumers were flocking to the retailer. In 2018, U.S. convenience stores had their 16th straight year of record in-store sales.
What's escalated a lot in the last number of years is more towards health and wellness is becoming very important for consumers. Local is becoming much more prominent amongst consumers.
It has grown so dramatically and has taken such hold in American life that the cool kids of retail have joined. Home Depot's opened convenience stores, experimented with the idea of convenience stores about a decade and a half ago. Target's danced around the concept. Walmart's danced around the concept. Amazon's integrated the concept. So it's really intriguing how convenience stores, which were always the other channel, has become the cool channel that everybody's looking at.
As of the end of 2020, 7-Eleven operated, franchised, or licensed over 71,000 stores in 17 countries. While mom-and-pop shops make up about 2/3 of convenience stores in the U.S., the industry is dominated by just a few big players. In 2020, the largest convenience store chains in the U.S. by store count were 7-Eleven with 9,364 stores, Alimentation Couche-Tard, which includes Circle K with 5,933 stores, Speedway, the retail arm of Marathon Petroleum Corporation with 3,900 stores, and Casey's General Stores with 2,181 stores.
Everybody has a regional favorite. On the East Coast, there's companies like Sheetz and Wawa. If you go down south, there's companies like Racetrack and some others. If you go in the Midwest, there's a huge debate in Iowa about which convenience store is the one for you, and Iowa might be the most competitive of them all.
As of December 2020, there were a little more than 150,000 convenience stores across the U.S., a 1.6% decrease from the year prior, due in part to the contraction in retail and a decline in single-store operators. According to analysts, while some mom-and-pop stores have suffered, the overall industry trend is towards larger corporate chains. In 2018, 7-Eleven completed its $3.3 billion purchase of over 1,000 stores from Sunoco. And in August 2020, the company announced it entered into an agreement to acquire 3,900 Speedway stores from Marathon Petroleum for $21 billion. Seven & I, the owner of 7-Eleven, said the deal would bring its store count in the U.S. and Canada to about 14,000. According to analysts, like their supermarket rivals, C-stores operate on razor-thin margins. Shoppers often see higher prices at convenience stores due to higher distribution costs and fewer customers buying in bulk. Prime locations also contribute to higher real estate fees.
You're in that coveted, convenient location. You're not on the outskirts of town that may have lower property taxes, but certainly may not be convenient. So there are different elements that go into how do you factor in prices. You better be pretty close or on point with prices because people will go somewhere else.
The consumer is at the heart and center of everything that's evolving. I believe that both the retailers and manufacturers recognize that. And how do you serve them, as I said, in a seamless and easy way and stay ahead of new health and wellness trends and things that are important for them as times change.
In 2019, U.S. convenience stores had sales of $648 billion, down 1% from the year prior. The sale of fuel made up 61% of revenue, and the remainder came from products sold in stores. Cigarettes and other tobacco products accounted for 34.4% of in-store sales in 2019. Prepared food, including hot coffee, accounted for 25.4%. Packaged beverages like soda and energy drinks made up 14.8%. Candy and salty snacks were 10%, beer was 7.4%, and things like laundry detergent made up the remainder. At the start of the pandemic, 7-Eleven experienced a drop in pre-work visits with fewer people purchasing coffee and breakfast for the office. Instead, the retailer saw consumers buying items in bulk. In an email to CNBC, 7-Eleven said this increased the average cart size as people were stocking up and also purchasing things they may have typically bought at a grocery store from their local 7-Eleven. We found that people were more comfortable shopping at 7-Eleven stores than some big crowded big box store or shopping center. 7-Eleven Incorporated, which includes 12,000 stores in North America, had revenue from operations of $25 billion in fiscal year 2019, 67% more than 2015. Since the mid-2000s, the convenience store industry has seen a variety of new entrants into the space. In 2018, Amazon made its debut with the launch of its automated grocery store, Amazon Go. The store incorporates the same technology used in self-driving cars and offers ready-to-eat meals as well as household essentials. As of January 2021, there were more than 24 Amazon Go locations across the U.S. Big box stores like Walmart and Home Depot have also tried to make inroads into the segment with varying degrees of success. While C-stores benefit from long hours and convenient locations, analysts say to attract a new generation of customers, retailers like 7-Eleven are adding healthier food options and a restaurant experience to their playbook.
Prior to COVID, we've seen a gradual increase over the years in food service, in prepared foods. You've seen stories about gourmet gas stations in across the country. So there's definitely been a move for better prepared foods.
I've seen this with Wawa and Sheetz, 7-Eleven, where you can get something to eat right there. You could order from the gas pump, and like mini cafe where you can sit down on the inside as well. And if the state allows it, you can have a nice beer with your sandwich or your taco or whatever it may be. So they've really transformed themselves into more food offerings rather than just like convenience and store, just picking up milk and eggs and bread.
In September 2014, 7-Eleven partnered with celebrity fitness expert Tony Horton, creator of Beachbody P90X, to develop a line of healthy sandwiches, salads, wraps, and cold-pressed juices. And in March 2019, the company opened its first Evolution store concept in Dallas, Texas. The new format features made-to-order smoothies, baked in-store croissants, and an alcove dedicated to wine and craft beers. The store also incorporates a Laredo Taco Company taqueria. 7-Eleven bought the taqueria as part of the 1,000 store acquisition from Sunoco in 2018. 7-Eleven also upgraded its delivery app, started in 2017, offering customers the option to have food, grocery items, or wine delivered and paid for in advance. As of January 2021, there were 5 Evolution stores in Dallas, Washington, D.C., San Diego, and Manhattan. The company plans to add 10 additional venues in 2021. And changing consumer behavior related to the pandemic has also had a big impact on the brand. During a January 12, 2021 third quarter earnings call, Ryuichi Asaka, president of 7 & I Holdings, said that while the coronavirus pandemic has caused a slowdown in foot traffic in 7-Eleven U.S. stores, consumer spending was up at least 20% from the year prior. Asaka said during the quarter, stores in the U.S. had seen a spike in the sale of frozen foods, alcoholic beverages, family-sized ice cream, and large beverages. In the 9 months ending September 30th, 2020, 7-Eleven Incorporated had operating income of $888 million, a 6% increase from the year earlier.
When the pandemic's over, I don't think consumers are going to say, curbside was great, delivery was great, we're over it now. It's going to continue. So the good news is the value of convenience has never been higher. The bad news is it keeps on getting more difficult to execute because it keeps on advancing, and every other retailer is looking at convenience because, let's face it, no one wants to be the inconvenience store.